we're not getting the things done that need to be done. And the people of Alabama need to have people like us in charge. People who are get-you-doners need to be in charge if we're going to make real progress.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
334 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Tabitha Eisner, Vice Chair of the Alabama Democratic Party.
Hi, Tabitha.
How
It's good to hear
interesting.
from you. So, what are your
Hi, good to hear from y'all.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about everything?
Yeah, so the piece that I really want to address is this issue of the two factions, and I think it's really selling ourselves short to describe it that way. I am convinced there is at least a third, if not a fourth and a fifth faction, and that third faction is what I would call the Get Shit Done Caucus, and those are all the people who want to do the work, dang it. And a lot of those people aren't involved in institutional party politics because it doesn't feel very efficient to be sitting in a meeting where we spend so much time on bureaucratic stuff. They want to be out doing the work. And I love that caucus. That's the caucus that I consider myself to be from. And I think that group is a powerful group that maybe doesn't give itself enough credit.
I appreciate you bringing that up because I think you are right. That I would say that caucus has not held any sort of power within the party that I can tell from the outside looking in. But there are definitely people, and I think the previous caller, Haley, who just called, is a good example of that. There are people who are currently involved in Democratic Party politics at the state or county level who are committed activists, who are committed to progressive change in the state of Alabama and are willing to actually do something about it. And it's just, as you allude to, it seems that the Democratic Party has not been the avenue for them to pursue that, at least as
yeah.
now.
And I think this is, we have a instinct to be skeptical of institutions and bureaucracy, and to want to be more grassroots than that. And, I share that sentiment, but what changed me from being a purely grassroots activist getting stuff done to being someone who's involved in the institution of party politics is the fact that I recognized that is where the money is going right now. It tends to be going to the big institutions, and it's a barrier. You can only get so much done outside the party structure before at some point you do need to have a hand in the institution itself. And if we just give that up, if we just let other groups, other factions have all of the institutional authority and all the institutional money, we are making our lives more difficult. And we can say that we have the moral high ground, that we're not engaging in the nonsense they are, but also we're not getting the things done that need to be done. And the people of Alabama need to have people like us in charge. People who are get-you-doners need to be in charge if we're going to make real progress. So I think it's worth fighting for. And, I'm only vice chair. As Chair Kelly has pointed out repeatedly, that does not give me any power over the budget or decisions of the party. But it's a step forward, and, I'm going to continue to do what I can from that position. But, folks my age and younger, we don't think of, if we were running an institution, it wouldn't be an authoritarian institution. If we were running an organization, it's going to be have shared leadership and lots of people doing lots of things, being empowered to do so. And, I think we can push for that. I think we have enough votes on the SDEC to push for that. But if we shake our heads and give up, then the two factions are just going to keep the white good old boys and the black good old boys are just going to keep fighting.
And I think that
party and the power that it holds.
Yeah, I think that our question is not. I don't think that either of us, that we are certainly not anti-institutionalist, right? We're like, we're working in.
We've both operated inside and outside.
Yeah, and with the party, but with unions are big institutions, and there are some people that
with some of the same problems,
right? With some of the same problems, but we have been convinced that unions with all the problems that are similar and dissimilar from some of the issues in the Democratic Party, that unions are a force for good, and that they're worth the time and effort, and it's not, and generally it's not a good bet to try to build something from the ground up or try to destroy the union apparatus and build something else. We are more or less fully convinced that unions are good institutions, and we need to work to build them, make them more powerful, make them more democratic, and so on and so forth. But I think that our question is vis-a-vis the institution of the Democratic Party is just, it's not an institutional question, it's a Democratic Party question, I think. And like, would it be better to build outside apparatuses from the Democratic Party, maybe use the Democrats as a ballot line, maybe not, but as opposed to actually trying to take control of the apparatus, is that actually worth it, or can we just use it as a ballot line while building up our own stuff outside of that? And I think that's the question that Adam and I struggle with, as opposed to institutions, qua institutions, if that makes sense.
Fair. Yeah. I perhaps stated it too strongly, but I think that question of like whether to give up on the Democratic Party as an institution, that's why I decided not to. Is because I think it would be easier to reclaim the Democratic Party than it would be to start from scratch. But I think the answer is both. We need, powerful organizations outside the party, and we need powerful people within the party. We need all of it. And in the places that have succeeded, it's been because of alliances where people didn't have to agree on every single issue, but they built coalitions in order to get particular things done. And I think we can continue to, I think everybody should pursue what they're good at. If what you're good at is running, a DSA, go run a DSA. And if what you're good at is fighting for, party stuff, then do that. And if what you're good at is running a food pantry and other mutual aid stuff, do what you're good at. And if everybody finds their strength
and we're all talking to each other,
partner with other people, that's when I think we're at our best.
Yeah. And so I've got just a couple of questions, and then we'll let you go. And we appreciate you calling in. And I did want to give you an opportunity to, some of the more to just confirm or deny, I guess, the some of the more salacious things that Chair Kelly said about the crying on the floor or whatever. I think we've heard from other people that that's not entirely accurate, but I wanted to, give you a chance to respond to that yourself. And then I wanted to ask, what is your plan to, we asked Kelly about his plan to kind of, turn everything into a get shit done caucus, right? And so what do you think that you can do in your position as vice chair? And so those are the two questions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the salacious claims. I deny those things. That's silly. I did not lay on the floor and cry.
that was my assumption when I heard that. Okay.
Have there been heated conversations at times with people? Absolutely. And what I take pride in is that when somebody wants to have a heated conversation with me, like, okay, let's do that. And I'm super proud of the fact that 9 times out of 10, that conversation ends with us finding common ground and being able to respect one another. But this stuff is passionate. This is stuff we care deeply about. So are there ever passionate conversations? Absolutely. And what it means to be a leader is that you, to a certain extent, you let people yell at you. A lot of people want to yell at me. there's a lot of pent-up anger, or not so pent-up anger, at white folks who have tried to run this party and keep black folks out of power.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real historical phenomenon and
Right.
present-day phenomenon too. And if people want to yell at me about that, okay, that is a service I can provide. I can be the person that you yell at. And so, have voices been raised? Absolutely. Have I been taking people down? No, I sure hope not. So, to me, this is a bizarro distraction, but I think it reflects a generational difference in how leadership works, where, I think folks my age and younger see leadership as a responsibility, a burden that you take on, but it doesn't mean that you get to bully people or tell other people what they can and can't do. It means that you have to lead using some of those softer skills of building coalitions and bringing people along, as opposed to an authoritarian approach where you just tell people what they're going to do. And I think Randy's from an older generation. Chair Kelly is from that generation that thinks of power as being authoritarian, where he gets to tell people what they can and cannot do. So, and I would love to see, if Chair Kelly put out a plan and said, this is what we're going to do to turn around the party. I do think it's my responsibility as vice chair to get on board with that plan and assist him in implementing it. Mm-hmm. But until that happens, until there's a plan in place from the chair, I'm going to keep doing my plan. Mm-hmm. Pre-election, my plan was I want Democrats to know how amazing they are, how incredible it is that they're doing the work that they're doing. So I spent a lot of time calling candidates and county chairs and encouraging them and celebrating the work that they were doing. And we knew it wasn't going to be a great election for us, but I at least wanted folks to know that they're seen, that their hard work and dedication is seen and appreciated. So that was my plan leading up to the election. My plan now is, I think we have to be building relationships at the grassroots level. I'm going to try to be creating small groups of folks who can get to know one another, build those relationships, and be able to support one another in the things that they're doing, and see how those different pieces fit together. Even though someone may not be acting in the way that you act, they may not be GSDing the way you GSD, that doesn't mean that we're not all getting good, important work done. So that's at the top of my list. I don't think that will conflict with whatever plan Chairman Kelly puts forward. And if I had my druthers, I would have his ear and be able to propose plans to him for what we could do to move the party forward over the next 4 years. He's not terribly interested in my ideas, but I will keep working on them.
Tabitha, thanks for calling in. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all, for pushing on this issue.
Nice. Happy to. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.